Tomorrow we will come up on 20 years since the Twin Towers collapsed in New York City. The world watching as two hijacked planes crashed into the high-rises. 34 minutes later, the Pentagon pierced and in flames. A fourth hijacked plane meant to target Washington, D.C., crashing in a Pennsylvania field after passengers fought back. 2,977 people were killed on September 11, 2001. Thousands more impacted by the tragic day. Today, we spoke with Tuscaloosa Fire Chief Randy Smith, who was in NYC to help with search and rescue. He shares his story. In 2001, Tuscaloosa Fire and Rescue Chief Randy Smith was the deputy commander for the United States Public Health Services in the National Disaster Medical Center. His team was staffed with doctors, nurses, paramedics, and pharmacists, and they were all deployed to New York from their main base in Florida after the attacks occurred.
Looking at it on TV was one thing, but when you got on site, when we got actually down to ground zero and started kind of an orientation, so to speak, for the command staff, just you're looking up at, 3 stories of just debris, and then the big gaping hole in the earth, that used to be where these 200-foot or 110-story buildings stood.
Chief Smith says it was very overwhelming. There were several different operations going on at one time, and his team's main mission was to help the responders. However, he did find it difficult at times to tell his crew to take a break.
It was very hard to tell them, hey, listen, you need to take a break. And, that was one of the big things that I know a lot of the medical providers up there were worried about having to do because, tensions were high. The lieutenant that I met one night that, had a story that really makes your heart sink. He was looking for his brother, but all of them were. Everybody there was looking for family.
During that experience, Smith says he learned a lot of lessons. One in particular was how important it is to work with other agencies. He says watching how FDNY and NYPD, some of the largest agencies, were working together and dealing with everything was an amazing learning opportunity.
They were going in and working their shift. They'd get off, they'd come to ground zero and work a shift. They'd get off, they'd go to a funeral, they'd get off, they'd go back to the station. It was just a cycle. And there was a lot of times you could see them, just a glazed look in your eyes. So, learning from those lessons that, there's no such thing as Superman or Wonder Woman. Everybody got to have a break.
Chief Smith says not only did this incident impact the United States, but it impacted the world. With it being the 20th anniversary of 9/11, Chief Smith says it's important to not only remember the victims that passed, but to also remember the brave firefighters, police officers, rescue squads, everyone that was there working and helping during that time.